I knew my host's second grade classroom promoted a love for reading the minute I walked in. The class library takes up an entire wall of the classroom, and it has fun chairs and stuffed animals to read with. The students have extensive independent reading time every day, where they get to choose any book from the library to engage with. At this time, there's no levels or restrictions. They can explore any text they want. Something I see very little of is writing, but one day the class schedule was changed, and they were spending some time working on their personal narratives. They'd been learning about this style for weeks to eventually create their own book documenting an experience. If they had finished their final draft, they were allowed to write freely in their journals. And I was really excited to see how this took place because I'd never watched them write like this before. My host teacher then reminded them they needed to be practicing how to write personal narratives, no other kind of genre. So I walked over to Child C and I began talking with him about what he was writing. And he was seriously struggling to find something to write about. He had all these ideas for graphic novels and stories, but he wasn't allowed to write them. I flipped through his journal to see if he had an opportunity to write any other way, but all of his other entries were personal narratives too. This was really hard for me to sit back and watch. I could see that he had ideas to write, but he wasn't allowed to make them come to life. And I understood that my host teacher was trying to help them practice a genre that was probably a part of the school's curriculum, but I just wanted to tell Child C to write the stories he was imagining. I wanted to give him that chance, but I didn't feel like I was in a position to do so. At that point, I decided in my mind that choice was going to be a part of my teaching philosophy that goes beyond picking out books. I always knew I wanted to give students the opportunity to pick out what they read, but thinking about writing in the same way didn't make sense until I started thinking about literacy holistically. All of these components are taught best intertwined, but they won't be meaningful if they're not taught in authentic and engaging ways. Children have to practice strategies to grow in literacy, and educators have to teach certain topics sometimes, but I think there are ways to make these experiences open to children's interests. I want to be a teacher who lets students have a say in how they learn best.